Konami really hates Sangan so much that they errated him to have no effect. Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, hoping that you are having a great day. And in today's video, we are going to be sitting back, relaxing, and having a chat about one of the strangest card game, dice game, IP grab bag experiences I've ever had the joy of trying out. Today we're discussing the Dice Masters dice game. And I'm going to call it a dice game because dice are the primary components. It does use cards. Cards are a major aspect of the game, but you don't really shuffle the cards up. You don't play with the cards. You play with the dice. The dice are what matters. So that's what we're going to talk about here today. Dice Masters is a game by WizKids. It's been around since, I want to say 2014, but don't quote me on that. It's been around a while. And it's one of those, as I said before, IP grab bag games where it's more or less just the card game mechanics, and each of the sets is from a different franchise, as the WizKids gets to just kind of sell the game to different fans of different franchises. It's had a few over the years. TMNT, I think Lord of the Rings, definitely Marvel. There's been a few Marvel ones over the years. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the one that I know it for. I played the Yu-Gi-Oh! Dice Masters game, and I have a pile of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards and dice here in the garage. It's a fun game. Fun fact, when I first saw this game, I thought it was like somehow a continuation of Dungeon Dice Monsters, which in addition to being a fun video game, is actually a physical Yu-Gi-Oh! Game they released way back in the day. And no, it's not related to that at all. It's just a funny little quirk of naming there. How's the game play? Unintuitively. When you're looking at a dice game that has a card aspect to it, you would be forgiven for thinking that you roll a dice to outperform your opponent, and the cards in some way improve your dice results or hamper your opponent's dice results. And that's not quite incorrect so much as it is imprecise. You see, you and your opponent are playing a game where you are competing to knock each other down to 0 life. You start at 20, and the objective is to beat your opponent down to 0 before they beat you to 0. Fun stuff. Very Magic the Gathering-esque. These beating fest sessions, we're not going to call it that, are conducted with dice. You start the game with a pile of, I think it's 8, but again, don't quote me. It's been a while since I've played this. Sidekick dice in your dice bag, and you'll take turns rolling them to determine how much energy you get. And with that energy, you buy these dice, character dice. And these character dice are associated with the character cards. The energy cost on the card determines how much energy you have to pay to get a dice from that card. And the card's effect tells you what the dice does, or at least any special abilities associated with the dice. When you use a dice or you buy a dice, it goes into the used dice pool. And very much like a deck building card game, after you are out of dice, everything gets recycled and you start fresh. Fun times. I could have dropped that on the floor. I shouldn't have done that. The dice themselves, while there is a rolling aspect to them, what really matters is the stat face on the dice. It doesn't really come up there a whole lot. Let's try a different colored one. The camera doesn't... Ooh. Will the camera zoom in on this one? Oh no, that's way worse. It's always hard to find something that this camera was... Ooh, there we go. No. Perfect. This is a sidekick dice. It's always hard to find small items like that the camera will zoom in on for. Dice have stats. You compete them against your opponent's dice to try and beat your opponent's life points down to 0. It's the basic concept of the game. You use them until you lose them. And the overall goal of the game is to just build the biggest pile of the strongest dice that you can as quickly as you can to knock your opponent senseless. Simple game, simple objectives. Again, just a bit counterintuitive with regards to how the dice are used. Because they aren't even really dice. They don't have traditional faces. They have their own custom faces. Which makes them worthless in D&D. Sadness, isn't it? What do I think of the game overall? I think it's a creative little way to kill some time. I appreciate kind of the core mechanics of it, because it is a simple game to get into. Once you understand the rules, it's very easy to set up a game and get several sessions in. As a purely game aspect, I think it's pretty fun. I think it's quite collectible. I think they do skimp out on the quality of it because, you know, the cards are just screenshots from the anime for the Yu-Gi-Oh set. I don't know how it is for the other sets, but for Yu-Gi-Oh at least, it's just screenshots. Which, you guys know how I feel about that. I'm always very disappointed when a card game does that. Because, you know, just create your own new assets, right? Give us something to collect. As a store, sealed product for it's fine. Secondary market, dealing with it is a nightmare because, sure, the cards do have value. People do want, for instance, a Red Eyes Black Dragon card, right? Just to have it. But you can't just send the card out. You have to send the dice that's associated with it. And some of them have multiple dice that they come with. And it's hard to ship dice. So, you could buy and sell it on TCG Player, but it's not really worth the hassle, I think, in my opinion. TCG Player, eBay, etc. Like, you can sell this and ship it online, but you gotta get a special package for it. You can't just plain white envelope ship it. So it's a bit of a pain there. But my own personal bias as a seller, besides, I do think it's a fun little experience. Fun little experience. Maybe not something that I would dedicate an entire afternoon to, just, you know, gaming night with the boys. Hey guys, would you like to give Dice Masters a round or two? I think it's a fun little experience there. I don't think it's WizKids' best attempt at a game. WizKids has tried a lot over the years, hasn't they? Haven't they? Hasn't they? Man, my tongue is all sorts of messed up tonight. But yeah, overall, I think Dice Masters is an enjoyable dice game. I don't think it's the best thing in the world, and I definitely don't think it's something that I would dedicate an entire chunk of my life to. But I do think there is some collectability to it. I do think that the game itself is fun. And I do think, hey, you know, if you have a giant pile of these lying around and you have some guys who just don't know what to do with their afternoon, give it a try. You might actually find yourself enjoying it. But that's all I got for you kids today. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, share, subscribe, and comment. I already said comment. Oh, well, the algorithm likes when you interact with the videos, and I appreciate what the algorithm appreciates. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.